Hello everybody and welcome to Amphlett Reviews, back with another Hong Kong content review, diving more into Long Kar-leung's career. With the next entry, we have back to the 88 film editions, we have the legendary Weapons of China. This is part of the 88 film collection. This is the spine number 30, part of the Asian collection. You got the slipcase there, in case you want to see it for yourself. There you go. Yep, alternative artwork as usual. And this time you do get the booklet, and you do get a poster. And there's the inside there as well. So without further ado, let's dive into Legendary Weapons of China. Legendary Weapons of China released in 1992, directed by Kar-leung, and this film we have a banger of a cast. We have some of the best within Kar-leung's filmography, all leading up to this film, maybe, potentially. I don't want to get ahead of myself. This film has a really fantastic cast, and every single performer really delivers in everything they do in this film. We've got Kar-leung in the film, of course. We've got Gordon Liu playing in the film as well. We've got Alexander Shung, which is from the 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, which is absolutely fantastic. He's a minor character in this. We've got Xiao Ho and the gorgeous and fantastic Carol Wai, which I previously talked about within My Young Aunt. Very impressive, and alongside many of the great actors and many of the performers. Too many to go into in this one, but everyone does a great job in terms of, returning back from previous films. I recognize a lot more of the kind of supporting actors as well in this one. I definitely was not expecting the level of caliber this film had to offer. The recent kind of outlets of Kar-leung movies between Shadow Boxing and My Monkey Kung Fu, My Young Aunt, they've been pretty good films, been pretty fun films, but nothing to the level of what's become prior. Like, Shalamantis, I think, was definitely one of the high points of Kar-leung, especially within 1978, 79, where he was doing really excellent films, like truly excellent, bang, and a bit of a slow decline in quality, if I'm being absolutely honest. While I do enjoy those films, and I think they're pretty fun, I do think they are more relaxed films. I definitely think they're more breezier films, focusing on different skill sets. Hey, I want to demonstrate kind of monkey fist, cool, I'll do a fun, wacky film with that. And I want to do a bit more of a hopping vampire film, comedy, chill movie, I'll do that. A bit of a spiritual sequel to Spiritual Boxing, cool, I'll do that. My Young Aunt, again, I like kind of comedy with kind of slapstick humor, Three Stooges, vehicle film for this actress. It always feels like nice projects where something prior, like these are precise kind of movies that I kind of fell in love with this director for. And this film, without, I don't know how other people think about it, Legendary Weapons of China fucking is awesome. It rules. It is incredible. And I don't want to beat it up too much. Maybe it's different for some people. This is like another level of Burning Paradise find. Now, I absolutely loved Burning Paradise. When I first watched it, I'd never seen it before, obviously. And this is the same kind of level. And I love what this film represents, what this film, what it has to offer. I'm going to dive straight into it. And basically, the idea of this film is, it's Kar-leung's kind of take on a wuxia film, but also mocking it, taking the piss out of it, while also doing Shaw Brothers, mockery at the same time. This is coming towards the end of Shaw Brothers' kind of filmography lineup. They're starting to slow down, doing more TV work during the kind of those early 80s. So there's a bit of a kind of a stepping away from Shaw Brothers, getting close to it. There's a few more movies still part of that kind of partnership, but you can tell this film is just him a little bit off the rails in terms of kind of his sense of humor. But you can tell that Kar-leung wanted to make a bit of a statement in a fun, kind of wacky kind of way. Storyline for Legendary Weapons of China basically features the Shadow Boxing Society, essentially. You got this 3 different clans of units, essentially, all doing kind of mystical, kind of, spiritualistic kind of, martial arts. They've got the traditional martial arts kind of background, but they're also doing the spiritual wushu, flying in the air, smoke and flames, and gimmicky weapons, all that kind of stuff that you usually would see within like Zulu Warriors or Last Hero China, bonkers kind of visual stuff in terms of the supernaturalistic kind of things. So basically, wushu, very much a wushu kind of style kind of film introduction in the vein of, say, Burning Paradise, for instance. And this idea of the Shadow Boxing Society are gearing up to basically get this kind of harness this power to basically stop Western kind of weaponry. This idea of kind of the West coming in, they've got kind of assault rifles, they've got weaponry, bullets that can harm you. So your fist can't stop a bullet, and they are going to prove it wrong. So the idea is that Long Kar-leung's character, which is a master character in this film, defects. He becomes a traitor, and he kind of leaves the society and he goes into hiding. The other clans, part of it, are very disgraced and very angry of this because he is one of the best of the best, and they are like disgusted at what's happened. So they basically send 3 people from 3 different clans to basically go and find him and to basically draw him out and kill him, essentially. And that's what the film is, essentially, going forward. And the opening of the film introduces these different kind of clans and their kind of, their talents. It's very over the top, it's very silly, but it's very fun. And there's a really good demonstrating scene with Gordon Liu where he's doing this kind of really kind of elaborate kind of, spells and doing this all kind of mystic kind of stuff, and basically saying, my students can stop a bullet now. I'm giving you the power, the invincible power, very similar to what shadow boxing was doing in his very first film, this idea of channeling the gods, the spirits, and I'm invincible skin, essentially, and no bullet can touch me, essentially. And it's demonstrated very quickly that, these students can't stop a bullet. They are brilliant and they're excellent in what they do, but a bullet is still a bullet, and they die, and it's like, okay, bring in the next slot, we'll keep going, we'll keep trying. And you're going through these waves of bodies of students that are dying to basically stop a Western weapon, which is never going to happen. It's absolutely bonkers and crazy. And they send in Xiao Ho and Kao Wai to basically go and find him and assassinate him. And there we get some great scenes in this little village, and most of the film is taking place within this little village. You get some kind of different kinds of, geography kind of placement, but the idea is you got these 2 assassins going after him, the Wushu style kind of fighting. It's very funny, it's very visually kind of pleasing, it's very bonkers at the same time, and the setups are very good. It's got good suspense, it's got some good character work, and you've also got a third assassin in the mix, which has this giant kind of pole stick, of course, and he is doing his best lone wolf impression, giant massive hat, a giant stick, and he's got a very different type of technique compared to the other 2. So they've all got 3 very different types of different styles, and all very unique in terms of their personalities and what they do and demonstrate it. And there's a great sequence where they're trying to poison the character. They find out where it's humor that actually works for the character and works for the scenario of what's happening, while also being fun, while also not being over drawn out or dragged out. It's funny because Long Kar-leung's character is basically just completely open in public. He's basically the woodman. He's in the cavern. He's in the kind of the taverns, and he's just kind of there. He's not hiding. He's not kind of doing anything. He's just kind of observing what's happening. You've got these various characters that are bumping into him or interacting with him. They're trying to find him, but he's just kind of there in plain sight, which is kind of hilarious. So you've got some interesting kind of back and forth, so kind of, taunts and kind of, showing off their kind of mystic kind of supernatural weapons and their skill sets, which is quite interesting. This idea of the spiritual boxing society, basically, and all 3 of them are on the same goal. And this is where it leads into pure absolute gold, and probably one of my favorite moments of the entire film, with Alexander Shang basically being hired by another mystery character, also trying to lure out Long Kar-leung's character and basically pretending to be him in a very open public in this village, and basically putting a performance and basically doing a semi-remake of his spiritual and boxer character they did in the very first film, and basically putting on this show, pretending to be the defector, saying, I've challenged all the gods, I'm invincible, I am awesome, and putting this really elaborate kind of sequence with his kind of, his crew of people getting paid to do it, to try and lure out the actual real defector, which is played by Long Kar-leung. And he is really, really funny. I've seen this actor a few times now in various kind of projects. This actor's got this very natural talent to be cocky, but also deliberately very funny and very overly expressive. The things he does with his facial expressions and his eyebrows and how he reacts to different scenes is there's so many different levels on there, so many different emotional range he has with, getting the money and things going wrong and then putting on this performance. And he goes through a range of different emotions, and he has a lot to do in this film. He's only like in an extended cameo, more or less. He has 2 big sequences in the film, and then he kind of just vanishes. But he is so funny in the film, and he plays it so well, especially towards when you get this kind of the voodoo scene, where he's getting controlled like a voodoo dummy kind of thing, and that's very funny as well, with his mustache being on his nose. Well, the difference is, compared to something like Mad Monkey Kung Fu or My Young Aunt, is that the comedy and the scenario benefits the film. It's all playing into the actual film's strength, because there's a reason for all this to happen. The 2 major sequences with him and his comedy setup is all demonstrating the ridiculousness of Wushu kind of, spiritual powers, supernatural powers. It's also a plot point of luring the character out of Long Kar-leung, also demonstrating this lead for our three main assassin characters to basically follow, and it all integrates into the film very, very well. And as the film goes along, escalation does happen. They eventually do find Long Kar-leung's character, and there is a bit of hard truths being presented within his reasons for the defecting, and assassins that end up becoming defectors within themselves as the film goes along. You've also got Gordon Liu's character, which comes into it and basically stirs up some shit, which is really great. Long Kar-leung is basically saying, I am sick and tired of Wuxia taking over what is important within a kung fu movie. It's always about the fist, it's always about the technique, it's about the stance, and it's about basically demonstrating this skill set. There's people that spend years and years and years, and Form's weaponry work is going to beat and outclass and outshow every time the Wuxia style of filmmaking that's dominating Shaw Brothers and a lot of Hong Kong movies during that time. Because from his point of view, everyone wants to see this crazy wire work and explosions and gimmicky type stuff, and it's all very pretty and it looks good, but where's the heart, where's the fist, where's the talent, where's the adrenaline? And he shows exactly what he's made of, and his little family unit of cast alongside it. And it's interesting that the first half of the film is his take on a wuxia movie, which is pretty goddamn good. It's very similar to Birding Paradise in that regard, but also he's taking the piss at the same time. He's showing you all the tricks of the trade. He's showing you characters going off from the smoke, and deliberately bad cut scenes that happen. It's also having a lot of fun with it as well. So if this is like a deliberate parody of it, he's done a really great job. The Legendary Weapons of China essentially is the fist and his 18 forms of weaponry work, which he introduces as the film goes along. This idea of different weapons in terms of poles and different spears and daggers, and he demonstrates all of it in these massive long take sequences. And the man himself does everything on screen, and it is absolutely fantastic. He really demonstrates how good of a fighter he is, how good of a forms weaponry he is. I thought he was brilliant within Man Monkey Kung Fu, doing the monkey fist stuff. And this, he is basically saying, step aside, hold my beer, I'm going to take it over from here and show you what I can do. And it is brilliant. And alongside the supporting characters as well, and the supporting cast, you've got all the family unit, you've got everyone in this film really demonstrating some of their best performances, their best comedy, their best martial arts stance. Everyone does a great job in this film, and it's a film that the second I finished watching it, I wanted to watch it again straight after, and that's a really, really good sign straight away. Overall, Legendary Weapons of China is a fantastic film, probably one of my favorites, in the top 5 of Long Kar-leung movies, I think, up to this point. It's definitely a much needed film after the string of steady movies that I've been seeing recently from him. This is definitely one of the higher tier ones for me. The commentary is absolutely hilarious. The comedy is brilliant. The performances are excellent. You got some of the best in this film. This idea of taking the piss out of Wuxia to do his, to basically show up and say, I'm going to do 18 forms of weaponry work, and show how good the martial arts fist is, while also going against conventions in terms of storylines. 100% recommend checking out Legendary Weapons of China. If you haven't seen it, please go and check it out. Go and pick up the 88 film edition. Definitely one to pick out. What are your thoughts and opinions on this film? Please comment down below. So in the meantime, guys, Amphlett Reviews, signing out.